G'day, it's fugitive Australian journalist Shane Dowling from the website kangaroocourtofaustralia.com. Now, I've just published an article titled Senator Linda Reynolds' lawyers discuss the Kangaroo Court of Australia website in the WA Supreme Court case against David Shiraz. So Linda Reynolds is suing David Shiraz, who's Brittany Higgins' partner, in the WA Supreme Court. And they were in court last Thursday, and this website and myself and also federal MP Tanya Plibersek were raised in court because Linda Reynolds has also threatened to sue us for defamation. And David Shiraz's lawyers were arguing that Linda Reynolds should put down a deposit, put down a security, in case she lost her defamation case against David Shiraz. That way he could be guaranteed getting at least part of his cost back. And the argument was, well, Linda Reynolds is threatening to sue a lot of people and she might run out of money. And where it becomes relevant in relation to Linda Reynolds and her lawyers naming myself and this website and our federal MP Tanya Plibersek is the fact that it's starting to snowball out of hand. You got court cases popping up everywhere. You got people being dragged into it who aren't really relevant to anything, but they're being named. For example, only a few days ago, Shane Drumgold, the former ACT Director of Public Prosecutions, instituted proceedings against the ACT government. And I did a video on that a couple of days ago, and I think that'll snowball as well, because if he wins his case, to have the Walter Sofronoff ACT inquiry report set aside, in effect quashed, well, then he might institute proceedings for compensation as well, and he might sue for defamation, etc. But let's focus on the WA proceedings last week where I was named and this website was named, and I'll read you out the article where it starts off. And it says, Linda Reynolds' lawyers discussed this website, Kangaroo Court of Australia, and its publisher, Shane Dowling, which is me, in the Supreme Court of Western Australia last Thursday, the 24th of August 2023, in Reynolds' defamation case against Brittany Higgins' partner, David Shiraz. The Linda Reynolds v. David Shiraz defamation matter was set down for an interim hearing, with Shiraz's lawyers arguing that Linda Reynolds should be made to put up security for costs in case she lost. One of Shiraz's lawyers' arguments was that Reynolds also has a defamation case against Brittany Higgins afoot, which she has. She's already instituted that. And Reynolds has also sent a legal threat to Federal Minister Tanya Plibersek and myself. It was argued Reynolds might run out of money, and therefore it was argued if Reynolds lost her case against Shiraz, he might not be able to get his costs back. So Reynolds should be made to pay a certain amount into the court's accounts for security. Now, the background to being me named in the WA Supreme Court, the reason David Shiraz's lawyers knew that at the Thursday hearing, 24th of August, about Linda Reynolds threatening me is because that morning at about 7 a.m. I published an article titled Senator Linda Reynolds Sends a Legal Threat to Publisher of the Kangaroo Court of Australia Media, which has a copy of the letter I received from Reynolds' lawyers the day before, Wednesday the 23rd of August. I had also put a message on Twitter on Wednesday afternoon which said, I've received a legal letter threat from Senator Reynolds' lawyers. I'll have more to say on that tomorrow. The legal threat related to an article I published on the 20th of August titled, Did Senator Linda Reynolds' perjury in the Bruce Lerman trial cost Brittany Higgins justice? And the lawyers sent a letter which says, my article is plainly and grossly defamatory, and my client demands that you remove your article. Any further publication is at your peril. And they had at your peril underlined. Now, if you go to my website, Kangaroo Court of Australia, you'll be able to read that article. It has a lot more information. It has a newscorp.com media reports where they name me. They named me on the Thursday after the hearing. Then on the Friday when the judge handed down the judgment, I also get a mention. And it's interesting how they pretty well attacked me, and also Senator Linda Reynolds' barrister or lawyer in court had a bit of a swipe at me too, and I addressed that in the article. But like I said at the beginning of this video, the whole issue is starting to snowball. You got defamation proceedings in WA, you got Shane Drumgold instituting proceedings in the ACT Supreme Court, you got Bruce Lerman instituting defamation proceedings in the New South Wales Supreme Court. And there's going to be other court cases popping up left, right and centre. And even though they sort of backed away against instituting proceedings against me for defamation, or at least Linda Reynolds' lawyer did in the court last week, it's still active. It still could happen because that was only the lawyer sort of backing away from it in a situation where he wanted to back away from it because he didn't want Linda Reynolds to have to put up security for costs in the David Shiraz matter. So he's backing away, saying, "Oh no, I don't think we'll institute proceedings." Well, he had to say that. Otherwise, if he had said, "Yeah, we'll be instituting proceedings," that would have been more ammunition David Shiraz's lawyers could have used to justify getting Linda Reynolds to pay security into the court's accounts. And if Linda Reynolds does back it up and decide to sue me for defamation, well, I'll stand and fight it. In Kangaroo Court of Australia's independent media, I publish a website, YouTube channel, Facebook page and Twitter account, and I'm 100% crowdfunded from viewers like yourself. So please support my Patreon account. I currently have 313 patrons donating at $2,031 a month, and I really need to double that to become financially viable. You can donate any amount, $3, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30, $40, $50 a month, whatever suits your budget. It all helps out. And there'll be a link to the Patreon account below this video on YouTube and also on my website. And please share this video on Facebook and Twitter, etc. Thank you for your time and have a good day.